What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I did want to make a quick video today going over some of the craziest events you can ever grind in the history of a racing game. And I would say right now, pretty much everybody is probably doing it. Now, right now, guys, I do want to mention you probably noticed the title of the video like, oh no, they were nerfed. Keep in mind, one of the events was nerfed, which was the 7th one down here. But for right now, though, you guys will have until most likely Wednesday to do the 4th event. That one I would probably say is going to be a bit more difficult. Like, if you are trying to grind out certain classes like motocross or probably using certain vehicles, it is probably going to be a bit harder. And a lot of the slower vehicles tend to struggle on this one because you have to be faster. Luckily, using like an Alpha GP or like a hypercar, you can easily farm money and XP if you want to. Like, not even kidding here, guys. One of the craziest things ever. I basically started off on level 25 here and I barely have been doing this. I am legit on level 67 already and I have barely even did it. I would say it's probably one of the funniest ways to actually get money and XP that way. Keep in mind though, if you want to get the most money, using a buck set is probably the best way, but I actually decided to do this with a lovely XP magnet set. That way I can get as much XP as possible and obviously, level up a bit quicker that way trying to get to level 100 because it's kind of a chore to do it without grinding this out or, exploiting the event. I'll get into that more here in a second. Not only that, guys, you're also going to notice my money on the top right of the screen. 65.6 million. I've made legit over $6 million already doing this. And by the way, this is all from the 4th event too, so this is a little bit longer than the 7th one. I can get it done around like a minute and 15 seconds. I'm sure like, a couple of different changes to the pathway or stuff like that, you could probably get a bit quicker. But one of the ways I was looking at this, though, is even if you are doing this in around 1 minute and 20 or 1 minute and 30 seconds, that's still 40 plus $1,000 and around 30,000 XP. Like, where else are you going to get that for around a minute and 15 seconds? Probably nowhere. Sure, the other one was probably a lot better. That's also why they nerfed it insanely quick. Like, doing that in around 45 seconds and getting around 40k, and also getting around like 25,000 XP or like 27 is still going to be a bit insane for that matter. So at this point though, guys, I would almost guarantee everybody is like, yeah, they probably have to nerf these events. Like, this is a bit ridiculous. Even though I do understand to a certain extent players are obviously going after part sets or like, just trying to make enough money and XP to actually level up and also buy some of the new vehicles. If you were grinding out something like a grand race or like regular events in the game, it's going to take much longer. And I would almost say that's why a lot of players are doing it. Now, one of the issues with this, though, is we can all agree right now, I did make a video about this a few days ago going over this because, well, a lot of players can agree right now that having this in the game does show one fatal problem. That is going to be the overall grinding aspect of the game, and we can agree it definitely needs to be updated in some ways, guys. Like, not even kidding here. Can you please, like, upgrade all the events so they give you a little bit more money in XP, and also give more gold parts for the events? Like, this has to happen. My goodness, though, taking 5 or 6 hours on one event or something like that to get one vehicle completed is almost on the same road as, wait, why am I doing this? Like, I'm going to farm one vehicle class for 6 hours because, why am I doing that? On top of that, guys, everybody seems to be missing one part from their inventory that they can't get. One tip I can give on that is if you are missing like an ECU or something, take one random part off something else. That way the game's like, oh, maybe he needs 2 parts, or maybe she needs this part, so let's go give them that one. I guess that might work. At this point, I guess it's kind of worth a try. I mean, most of the stuff in the game, a lot of players are probably like, wait, that needs to be changed, this needs to be fixed. Hopefully, a lot of them do end up happening. I mean, we are currently in Season 3, so kind of giving the game the benefit of the doubt here that we might end up seeing some changes. And one thing I have to say, guys, if you are looking to make a lot of money in XP, jump in right now and do the Scene 4 event in the Hollywood Action playlist. There is not going to be a better way to make money in the game, and most likely, after this is patched in the coming Wednesday, which I would almost guarantee that it will be, there is not going to be a better way to make money in XP besides this one. Sure, leveling up your class and stuff like that might be a bit more difficult. Like if you're using like a Street Tier 1 or something like a motocross bike, you can probably run some of these classes in the Scene 4 event, but I would say in the Scene 7 event, they were definitely much better if you are going after like part sets, which I do think is a bit unfortunate. I do understand a lot of players don't want to grind out a certain class for 7 hours. Can't really blame you there. But if you are going after money and XP, guys, definitely run a hypercar. It is so much quicker in the Scene 4 event. And I would almost say pretty much 90% of the player base is most likely doing this event right now anyway. So They are definitely going to be nerfing this on Wednesday. If they don't, I would be pretty dang surprised if they didn't. And I do understand here, like a lot of players are probably going to be pretty upset that they are most likely going to be removing them. Or in this case, they're probably going to make it so you make like $10,000 and like maybe 12,000 XP. So like, what is the reason to do the event? There probably isn't going to be one. And also, that brings me to something else I have to mention. So we all do know the Scene 70 event was probably like the craziest mission you can ever grind, or like, the most money you can probably make in 30 to 40 seconds. Can I ask a valid question here? If you are doing a race designed on pictures or like a navigation type of event to where you can't skip parts of it, why would you put the end of the event pretty close by to the beginning of it? That would probably almost make everybody go, wait a second. If I skip here, I can probably get to the next picture, skip this area and head over to the next part of it, and there's going to be a really bad time limit. To what's funny, guys, is they did not have to nerf the money on it. They probably could have went in and went, you know what? If you go off the road for maybe 3 to 4 seconds, you can then get reset back to the road. And I would almost like to guess that they are most likely doing this in the future. That way, the events are going to go back to 30,000 or, 20,000 XP instead of being $10,000 and 10,000 XP. There is pretty much no reason to actually do the event whatsoever, and you pretty much get like 1 or 2 parts. So basically, the event is obviously disabled. And not trying to be that guy here, but we can all agree right now that the Scene 4 event is easily going to follow suit with the Scene 7 event here this coming Wednesday. So if you guys are going after money and stuff like that, this is definitely the time to do it. And I did talk about this in a recent video a few days ago, but like, can we all agree that this is definitely showing some flaws here with like the overall grinding system? A lot of players want to make money in XP and obviously max out vehicle sets, but being able to do that, you're probably going to have to spend a crazy amount of time actually doing events, because most of the races, even with a buck set, do not pay an insane amount. So you are probably going to be spending a crazy amount of time, going after part sets and being able to buy a single vehicle. So I would almost say, guys, right now they definitely have to like update the entire like pay system. Giving everyone more money, XP, parts, and everything would make the game so much better. Maybe add different modifiers into the events as well and just give people a reason to jump in, instead of only having like a few events like this that obviously are bugged out. And they can easily see that people just want to make some money and also some XP to level. And at the end of the day, just easily go after a few part sets. I honestly hope, guys, that they might end up updating other stuff in the game with the other events. And we do know we'll probably end up seeing a few more events pop up in the future, like the Scene 4 and 7. But I would say, though, we're most likely going to not see events like this again, because they're probably going to be testing them a bit, making sure that, well, having the end of the event insanely close by to the beginning of it probably isn't going to be the smartest decision. And you want to know what the craziest thing about no, and you want to know the craziest thing about this, though, is all players want to do is go after money and XP, but not spend 17 hours doing it. And also, maxing out classes should not be a chore. I really do hope, guys, we actually see some changes, because, well, Motorfest has so much potential, it honestly frustrates me to no end. And I really do want this game to actually be something great. Hopefully in the future we might end up seeing this, but overall, guys, I would like to know your thoughts on this in the comments below. What do you think about the recent events right now being absolutely insane with how you can do them? Even though the Scene 4 isn't as good as the 7th event, at least you can actually still make money and XP pretty dang quick.